India's Monetary Policy Committee has kept the policy repo rate unchanged at 5.5% and the neutral stance to continue. The MPC statement was delivered by Reserve Bank of India Governor Sanjay Malhotra on Wednesday. The real GDP growth for 2025-26 is projected at 6.5%, while the real GDP growth for the next quarter is projected at 6.6%.
Growth for 2025-26, the current year, is projected at 6.5%, our earlier projection, with Q1 at 6.5%, Q2 at 6.7%, Q3 at 6.6%, and Q4 at 6.3%. Real GDP growth for Q1 next year, 2026-27, is projected at 6.6%. The risks are evenly balanced.
Speaking on foreign direct investments, FDI, RBI Governor said that gross FDI to India remained strong during April to May 2025-26 this year. However, net FDI was moderated.
On the external financing side, gross FDI to India remained strong during April to May 2025-26 this year. However, net FDI moderated during this period due to higher outward FDI. FPI inflows to emerging markets and economies have remained strong in May and June 2025. However, net FPI to India recorded outflows of $0.8 billion this year so far till July 31.
Further, it was informed that RBI is monitoring macroeconomic conditions and will continue to take efforts for economic growth to be on track.
Continue to monitor our macroeconomic conditions on a policy-to-policy basis and accordingly take a call. So it's all, very, very uncertain. We already did 100 basis point rate cut. The other thing is that monetary policy transmission is still happening. So we will continue. We'll continue to do whatever is required to facilitate good growth while of course maintaining price stability.
DD India's Shama Mishra joins us from Mumbai now on the story. She has Sunita Ramnathkar, President IMC Chamber of Commerce and Industry with her. Over to you, Shama.
Tanvi, we are still waiting for the president over here. She is in another meeting and she'll be soon with us. But yes, talking on the Reserve Bank of India's monetary policy, today was the first policy that under the new governor's regime where we've not seen a rate cut, and the RBI Monetary Policy Committee has maintained a status quo. Now remember, this was done unanimously. That means all the members have agreed that this time around the pause should be cautiously timed, and it is because there is so much global uncertainty happening right now in the global trade, and it's ever evolving, and that is what the governor Sanjay Malhotra has time and again pointed out, that this is a time of uncertainty, but there are signs of strength in the domestic economy, and that is why India and the Indian economy is holding up pretty good. Also, the GDP growth forecast has been as it is, which was earlier projected at 6.5%. It is continuing at that particular point. And the good news over here is that the CPI inflation has been revised downwards. That means earlier it was 3.7% and now it has been projected at 3.1%. So it is a news of relief for the people, because inflation is under control and Reserve Bank of India always wants it to be under 4%, and this is a very comfortable range for Reserve Bank of India. Also, the coming festive season will bring itself a lot of relief for the people, and as we see that the potential or the disposable income increases, India's growth at this particular these particular months will also see a good performance over here. We also spoke to the governor when the post-policy press conference was happening, and we asked about how these global uncertainties are panning out, and is RBI worried about this, having any impact on the inflation or having any impact on the Indian economy. But yes, we are, we have received very positive statement from the governor, and Sunita Ramnakkar is with us. Let's talk to her. Hi ma'am, welcome to DD India. So we were talking about how the Reserve Bank of India, this particular policy was on expected lines. What would you say about this policy?
In February, the Reserve Bank of India reduced 100 BPS, and that has proved to be okay. It's going on. People are observing. I think already the changes are being noticed. The consumption has increased, and I think we'll have to wait for some time to see it taking effect. But I feel what we are doing is the right thing by waiting for a while to see if this policy it works before putting another policy in place.
Okay. Talking about these global uncertainties, everybody is, and we are worried about the US tariffs being implemented. How do you see this panning out, if at all it is getting implemented? How do you see this panning out?
Yes, I see more that the government capital expenditure has hiked up so that our economy doesn't get disturbed. I am hoping that the UK FTA and the other FTAs which we have signed with 16 other countries will help us navigate through this, and sooner than later we should have a steady impasse with US, and we should start our business slowly with them. I totally depend on the government to do what is best for the MSMEs and the people of India.
All right. So a very important point over here, Sunita has raised that in the last decade, India has been having a strong relationship with many countries, and the result of which is various FTAs that we have signed, and that will obviously help the country, help India in dealing with all this which is going on. Ma'am, one more last question which I'm asking you is, you talked about MSMEs. How do you see the impact on MSMEs if at all this gets implemented, or is our the entire the US tariffs, or we are the backbone and everything is strong enough to withstand this?
There are a lot of ancillary jobs conducted by the MSMEs which help the exporters, and they depend on MSMEs to provide timely export expansion for their needs. So MSMEs will get affected, but I don't know to which extent, because our own economy should be robust enough to at least tide them through this delicate period. And I'm sure people will search for greener horizons like the UK and the other countries to do business in. In fact, big businesses are exploring the avenues, and they will pull along the MSMEs to do it.
All right. So our country's economy is obviously robust. Ma'am has also said that, and even the governor of Reserve Bank of India has said that our economy, our way of things back at home is robust. So definitely we are hoping that even if this gets implemented, our country is ready to take on this particular situation, and it will come out much stronger, much robust.
Okay, Shama, thank you very much for being with us. And let me also now bring in Dr. Charan Singh, eminent economist and CEO, eGrow Foundation. Welcome, sir, to DD India. Could you explain why the Reserve Bank has chosen to keep the repo rate, the rate at which it lends to commercial banks, unchanged at 5.5% in its latest policy review?
That's a very good question. Why it sought to keep it unchanged? Actually, the eGrow shadow monetary policy had discussed at length last week, and even amongst us, we felt that probably it would be a good idea to keep it unchanged. Some of us felt that we should probably lower it further, but many of us felt that maybe it is a good idea to keep it unchanged. The governor, in his wisdom, rightly articulated, and I thought he articulated it very well. The first thing that he mentioned is the economy is doing well. It's on an even keel. We are approaching the festival season and everything seems to be under control. Inflation is doing well, absolutely no problems. Bank credit, non-performing assets in the banking sector, in NBFCs are doing reasonable. Credit offtake is taking place very well. But there are global uncertainties. And in global uncertainties, we have to really watch what is going to happen and how is it going to unfold. The tariff war, as you know, is also taking place, and we are in the midst of that tariff war. Another important point that he made, and I thought that was very cogent, was the 100 basis point reduction has happened place in the last few months, and how is it getting transmitted across the economy. On the weighted average lending rate, he mentioned that about 0.71 71 basis point or 0.71% has been transmitted. As far as the term deposit rates are concerned, over there it has been a little more aggressive, 0.87% or 87 basis point has been transmitted. What does that translate or what does it imply? It means that the transmission is taking place and not fully done. In the call money market rate also and in the government securities market rate also, there has been a perceptible difference because there has been a rate cut. Given this situation, that the transmission is taking place, the economy is doing reasonably well, I think they have maintained the neutral position and decided to hold the interest rates where they are. I think it's logical.
Okay.
One would, as an economist, I would expect that we had front-loaded the cuts and we had gone ahead with it because in the manufacturing sector and in certain sectors, there is a little letdown. But I think if not now, maybe in October, the cut would happen. Also depends on how the American economy is behaving. They were holding back the interest rates and that's fair. So I would agree with the governor at this stage, let the transmission take place, let the things become a little more clearer, global economy and domestic economy. Domestic economy is of course doing very well and then we can take the call.
Okay, the Reserve Bank has forecast inflation in the next fiscal at 3.1%, lower than its earlier projection of 3.7%. What does this indicate for the Indian economy and future bank interest rates?
So that is a very good point that you have again made on inflation. That is where the monetary policy basically hinges upon. The inflation rate has certainly been looking southwards and which is very, very good. And that is happening mainly because of fuel to some extent. And mostly it is happening because of double-digit decline in food and vegetables. Now the projections which the governor has presented over the next 1 year are all in the range of mainly 3%. It averages 3.1% for the year, but of course when he has given a breakdown of quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, therein he says in quarter 4 it may go up to 4.4 and that is one of the reasons he gave why is holding a pause that inflation may look up. The other point that he made, and I think that's also quite a solid point, is the core inflation. The core inflation in the month of December to Jan was 3.6%. It has risen to 4.2% in February, May. In June, it has risen to 4.4%. The headline inflation continues to be in the range of 3 to 4%, which is the pivot, which is the average of 4 plus minus 2, that makes it 2 and 6%. So I think it is within that range. It's very comfortable position as far as inflation is concerned. Little worried, very little worried, because 9 months from now, quarter 1 of the next year, it may be in the range of 4%,
okay.
4.4%. So probably that is why he is holding back and that is fair enough. Otherwise, I think inflation is under control. When inflation is under control, that also means that the repo rate and the monetary policy stance, keeping it neutral, is perfectly fine. And one can expect, given the global situation as uncertainties related to tariff, one can then expect the interest rates to follow the downward trajectory.
Okay. Dr. Singh, the Reserve Bank has said that commercial bank credit grew by 12.1% in fiscal year 2025. How do you interpret this number in terms of what it could mean for the Indian economy?
Yes, I think the bank credit is doing very well. Of course, the governor mentioned it very transparently that in the previous year the growth rate was 16.3%. But if you take a 10-year average, this 12.1% which you're mentioning is reasonably robust given the circumstances. But the governor also clarified that the non-food credit by the banking sector, yes, but overall credit flow to the commercial sector is doing very well. So there is no letdown on that front. As a banker and as an economist, I would look at the non-performing assets also and capital adequacy ratios also. The capital adequacy ratios are in the range of 17%, which is superb. And when you look at the net non-performing assets, they're around 0.53%, which is, I think, the best one can expect anywhere. And the gross non-performing assets are down to 2.2 odd percent. So I think the banking sector is now reasonably robust and I think doing a roaring business, and that is something which we should be proud of. Remember, for a certain time, not too long ago, many of the public sector banks were under the prompt corrective action and our non-performing assets were in the range of 3 to 4%. Bringing them down to the current level is far better than many other countries in the world. Given the global uncertainties that we have, I think the banking industry is doing very well.
Okay, bright prospects for the Indian economy in a nutshell. Thank you very much, Dr. Charan Singh, for giving us your analysis on the latest monetary policy review of the Reserve Bank of India. Thank you for being with us.